Hi, I'm Carissa and I'm a Sustainability Ambassador here at UBC. And one of my favorite things is food. And it could be one of your favorite things as well, because you have to eat it multiple times a day. I've eaten once, twice, maybe 20 times a day. Well, each of those decisions that you make have an impact on our environment. But before I talk about food and its environmental impact, I want to recognize that we're standing on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. Unceded meaning that we remain guests to this land. So while you watch this video, I encourage you to reflect on this and consider what this land has provided to us, such as our education, a place of shelter, and even what this video is centered on, food.
My name's Colin Moore and I'm the Food Services Director here at UBC. And I've been here about 4 years, just over 4 years. I have about 35 years of experience in the food business and started working in the food business actually in the University of Guelph.
My name is Candice Rideout. I'm a faculty member in the Food, Nutrition and Health program, which is part of the Faculty of Land and Food Systems. I've been at UBC for a few years, since about 2012, and previously was at a few different universities across Canada. But my PhD is in human nutrition, and broadly speaking, I'm very interested in things related to health, food security, and sort of community sustainability.
We have a lot of systems that connect with sustainability. Maybe a little bit of background first to help provide some context. We operate about 40 locations here at UBC. We are the primary food provider on campus. We service the retail business, the residence dining business, the concession business. We've got full service restaurants, and we serve on a busy day over 25,000 customers. Contamination is also a big challenge for us, and really trying to support and keep consistent with our sorted out waste streams at UBC is a challenge for us that we're always working on. Another challenge for us is really trying to reduce single-use containers on campus. Coffee cups are a big contributor to that often go in the landfill, although we recycle them. But trying to reduce those is a big challenge for us. We have an Eco2Go program that we have always had, and this year we've enhanced it again with a new container, with some new incentives, and we think that's really going to help us reduce those single-use containers.
So the Eco2Go program is a container share program at UBC, which is great because it's often a huge pain to have to constantly have a container with you, but it also sucks to have to pay a 50-cent charge for the disposable containers instead. So this program allows you to have a carabiner or the container with you at all times.
So in terms of what type of diet is best for environmental sustainability, this is also an area that's really under a lot of active research, because it's an important pressing question with the increasing evidence of the impacts of climate change on food availability as well as so many other systems in the world. We need to sort out what types of diets are most sustainable. And although there's still a lot of work to be done on this, fortunately, the answer really overlaps with what type of diet is best for human health. So primarily, in a nutshell, what types of diets are most sustainable or most environmentally sustainable in particular are diets that shift to being based on more plant-based products as opposed to those that really use a lot of livestock-based products. So in real terms, that would mean fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, those types of things, and less of things like milk and other dairy products, meat, the types of foods that we actually get from raising animals to produce those foods. So it's a common misconception that people on a plant-based diet need to seek out particular sources of protein. People often worry if you're eliminating meat, which we think of as being our key source of protein, where will you be getting your protein? One of the things that's really helpful to keep in mind is almost every food contains protein. There's very few foods that don't actually have protein in them. As long as you're having enough energy consumed from a really wide range of plant-based foods, you don't need to seek out protein in particular. Food waste is a really significant issue within our food system. It's in and around a third of all food that's good for human consumption is being wasted throughout the world. And the pattern of food waste does differ depending on sort of the economic wealth of the country and the context in which it's occurring. So in some countries where food is relatively more expensive to consume and harder to come by, food waste might be about 10% of the food that's overall available. Whereas in a country like Canada or the United States, we're getting closer to 40% of our food that's actually being wasted, and primarily by consumers. So roughly half, it's just a little bit less than that, food waste in Canada is actually occurring in our own kitchens. So it's things that we either throw out because we didn't consume our entire portion, or it's things that have gone bad within our fridge, or things that perhaps have passed the expiry date while they were in our cupboards. And so we're wasting a significant amount of the food that we're purchasing.
If a student could consider one kind of change or one kind of general behavioral change they could make that could really impact the environment regarding food, what would you suggest for that?
Eat the right way. And the right way, I think, is to really try and eat predominantly a plant-based diet with plant-based proteins. It's the right way to eat because it's the best thing for your body, it's the best thing for the environment.
So if a person is wondering what they can do, how they might be able to tweak their diet in order to have a more sustainable diet, the key recommendation that I would make is probably to think about shifting to more plant-based foods within their overall dietary pattern. So it's not something that needs to be categorically dramatic, like now I'm vegan or now I'm vegetarian, but just to think, how is it that we can incorporate more vegetables, more plant-based proteins like legumes, things like chickpeas, kidney beans, and so on, into the foods that we're eating. One of the things that really drew me to the study of diet and nutrition and food overall is the fact that, in my view, food is central to what we do as humans. So it's core to our questions around environmental sustainability, both in terms of how our diet affects environmental sustainability, as well as how the changing climate affects our food production. But when it comes to social sustainability, food is one of the ways that we communicate, connect, share, reach out. And the ability to do that and kind of see how our identities are linked to the foods that we prepare and share, how we use particular foods to celebrate important transitions, how food can be used as a way to connect within communities and develop deeper relationships with people than would otherwise be the case. I think food can really be a central part of any plan forward to increase sustainability really from every component.